Savage.
California is pushing its gold lame heel into the neck of those who would teach their own children. Homeschoolers are being told they must get government certification. Selwyn Duke is here to talk about this abomination. Selwyn, welcome back to the Savage Nation.
Hi, Michael. Good to be with you again. Michael, I know you've discussed this on your show, but a court in California, that would be the Second Appellate Court in Los Angeles, has ruled that a homeschooling couple, Philip and Mary Long, must enroll their two youngest children in a government school or legally qualified private one. Now, there's no more important a right than that to raise your children in accordance with the dictates of your own conscience. But the California government, in making the law on which the ruling was based, has trampled that right with a jackboot.
That's atrocious. The government is trying to dictate what parents are trying to teach their own kids?
That's absolutely right, Michael. And listen, there is a chilling parallel here, because homeschooling has long been outlawed in Germany, and I don't think I have to tell you who outlawed it. Adolf Hitler did in 1938. And why? Because he wanted a monopoly over the hearts and minds of the young. And this Hitler reference is apropos, because such intrusion into the family is the greatest of tyrannies. Listen, the court cloaked its ruling in cerebral-sounding euphemisms, such as how they care about the general diffusion of knowledge and intelligence. But it's nothing but just sanctimony. That's all it is. Because either intelligence hasn't diffused into the California court system, or the leftists in question couldn't care less about education. Oh, and I have to mention one more thing. How does intelligence, which is considered to be an innate quality, diffuse? But anyway, if these leftists really did care about education, they'd support homeschooling, not attack it. But actually, I'm going to call it natural schooling. Because you see, children have been educated within the home for most of man's existence. So if we view it within the broad context of history, it's obviously the norm, not the exception that its opponents would paint it as being. It's natural for kids to be educated in a family setting. What's not natural is for them to be sitting around with 30 other kids in a poorly structured classroom environment.
Of course not, and it's also not natural for them to be taught to put a condom on a cucumber either, or that Jenny has two mommies.
Well, yeah, that's for sure, Michael. But listen, this is for certain. Children thus educated usually surpass their schooled peers by any academic measure. For instance, according to the National Home Education Research Institute, this is what they say. The home-educated typically score 15 to 30 percentile points above public school students on standardized academic achievement tests, regardless of their parents' level of formal education or their family's household income. Now, I know a critic would point out that it may not be a fair comparison, since a person who practices natural schooling is not an average parent, but an unusually engaged one. And this is true. Such students would most likely excel in most any setting. But, you know, this misses the point. Because, first, there's no question in my mind they wouldn't perform as well, although this thesis' validity would elude those bereft of common sense, such as those working as California judges and legislators. But the bottom line is this. Whatever your conclusion, the one inescapable fact is naturally schooled kids perform better. So if it ain't broken, why fix it? Their parents are obviously doing something right. Now, here's where many will say, many that is, that in contrast, the government school system is terribly broken. But I'm going to shock you. I disagree with these people, too. And I'll quote columnist Vox Day here. He said, "One cannot fix what is not broken, and the schools are working as they are designed to work."